So, in this part of our look at the wave, what started as a simple classroom experiment is really starting to pick up steam. We're about to see the lines between a history lesson and, well, a real-life movement get super blurry and honestly in some pretty unsettling ways.
And that's really the question at the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? How does a good idea go so wrong? Over at Gordon High, this little experiment is taking on a life of its own. It's forcing everyone, students and teachers alike, to see just how fast good intentions can totally spiral out of control.
All right, so the tension really starts to build when the history teacher Ben Ross, the guy who started the wave, gets called into the principal's office. And as he's walking down the hall, students are actually giving him the wave salute. It's clear the movement is spreading like wildfire, and Ben knows this meeting could decide its entire future.
You can really feel Ben's internal conflict here. He knows the experiment is getting big, maybe too big, but then he sees these incredible changes, especially in a student like Robert Billings. Robert was always the class outcast, right? And now, for the first time ever, he feels like he belongs. Ending the wave would mean ripping that away from him.
And this gets to the absolute core of the problem. Principal Owens isn't mad. He's just cautious. He's heard the good stuff, sure, but he's worried it's all a little too open-ended. Ben, of course, defends it as this amazing teaching tool, but the principal leaves him with a pretty clear warning. There are limits.
So while Ben Ross is kind of weighing the pros and cons in his head, the editor of the school paper, Laurie Saunders, finds the first real, concrete proof that something is seriously wrong. An anonymous warning shows up, and, well, it changes everything.
Someone has slipped an anonymous letter under her office door. It's from a junior, and it lays out exactly how they were recruited. It started out kind of friendly, with seniors just talking about how great the wave was, but the tone changed fast. It got a lot more menacing.
Yeah, this isn't just friendly persuasion anymore. This is a senior using threats, using fear to force people to join. The wave is no longer a choice. It's becoming a requirement. Join or you're an outcast. It's that simple.
Now, as Laurie is dealing with that bombshell of a letter, Mr. Ross steps out of his meeting with the principal. He's about to see, firsthand, how his experiment has taken on a whole new role, escalating into something way, way bigger than just his classroom.
The school is just buzzing. Students are everywhere. They're handing out pamphlets, putting up banners, organizing this huge rally. And they're chanting the mottos: strength through discipline, strength through community, strength through action. The energy is electric, but Ben quickly realizes he never ordered any of this. The students are doing it all on their own. And then, Robert Billings, the very student who seems to have gained the most from the wave, he steps up to Ben Ross, and he makes this startling declaration, insisting that as the leader, Mr. Ross now needs protection.
I mean, that makes you stop and think, doesn't it? A history teacher. Why on earth would he need a bodyguard? It just goes to show how much his role has shifted. He's not just an instructor anymore. In the eyes of his students, he's a true leader who has to be protected. The lines are getting dangerously blurred.
The power of the wave isn't just changing the teacher-student dynamic, oh no. The cracks are starting to show between the students themselves, even between really close friends like Laurie and her boyfriend David.
So Laurie's at her locker, already feeling uneasy about this big wave rally, when she sees a fight break out. A teacher has to separate them, and as one of the boys gets led away, he shouts a wave motto. And that's the first time we see the movement's ideals spill over into actual physical violence.
For Laurie, that fight is the absolute last straw. So when David comes up, all excited about the rally, she tells him flat out, nope, not going. And that's where the argument kicks off, as she finally admits she's scared the wave has gone way too far.
But David, he sees it completely differently. For him, as a football player, the wave was a game changer. It transformed his team from a bunch of individuals into this single, unified force. He sees its power to create equality, to give everyone a shared purpose. He truly believes in it.
And then the argument gets really personal. David accuses Laurie of only being against the wave because she's not special anymore, because she's not the center of attention. It's a really painful accusation, and it just shows how deep this rift between them has grown. The wave has become more important than their relationship.
That argument, that's what solidifies everything for Laurie. She's not just a doubtful observer anymore. She decides she has to fight back. And she's gonna use the one tool she has, the school newspaper. It's time to take a stand.
So while practically the whole school is at this massive rally, Laurie is holed up in the newspaper office.
She's shaken up, for sure, but she's also determined. She gets the few staff members who aren't part of the wave together, and they start planning a special edition that's going to expose the movement's dark side. Later that night, her fears are confirmed in the worst way. Her father comes home with the story he heard. A boy was beaten up after school simply for refusing to join the wave. The violence isn't just a threat anymore. It's real.
And here's the terrifying irony of it all. The entire point of the wave was to understand how something like Nazi Germany could happen. But as Lori explains what's going on, her own dad points out that the experiment itself sounds like it's getting out of hand. It's mirroring the very history it was supposed to teach.
So this leaves us with Lori. She's lost friends, she's fighting with her boyfriend, and she's getting ready to challenge a movement that has completely taken over her school. The question isn't just about her anymore, is it? It's about the courage it takes to resist, to say no when everyone else is saying yes. What does it really, truly cost to stand alone?